I want to tell you all a story. And doing it as a story, it has to be a sort of spoken word thing because it's an old myth. It goes back to Greek myth and is one of my favourite bits of Greek myth. It is the story of Tiresias. Tiresias is basically a psychic sex god, and that more people do not know of him is a crime. He shows up in Freud's favorite tragedy, Oedipus Rex, and he basically pops up all over the place and nobody fucks with him, which for a character in Greek mythology is already pretty good going. The version of the myth I'm telling you is from the glorious book Zeus Grants Stupid Wishes, which I can highly recommend. It's available. Buy a copy, laugh. Or don't, because if you don't, I'll have to read more stories from it, and it's kind of cool. Fuck it. Anyway, so let me introduce you to the baddest prophet around. His name is Tiresias. And besides having an awesome name, Tiresias is basically just this guy. He was out hiking one day, saw a couple of snakes doing it, and he goes like, "What? I don't want to see no fucking snakes boning on this mountain." And runs up and beats the ever-loving shit out of them with his trusty walking stick. As you do. Now that's all well and good, but apparently the goddess Hera was really into seeing these snakes doing it. I guess, when your husband spends most of his time trying to fuck mortal women while in the body of a swan, Ophidian pornography is a perfectly reasonable kink. Who am I to shame? But yeah, she did get a bit pissed at having her special lady time viewing interrupted. And so she's like, "Oh, you like beating the shit out of snakes, do you, son? How would you like if I turned you into a woman for some reason?" So bam, Tiresias is turned into a woman for 7 years and does not treat this as a punishment in the fucking slightest. Tiresias shits in Hera's hand completely by becoming the greatest prostitute the world has ever seen. Seriously, Tiresias invents so many fucking sexual positions, they have to revise the laws of gravity to accommodate them. It is that kind of party for 7 years. And after those 7 years of awesome loveless sex, Tiresias is wandering through the mountains again and sees two snakes doing it. Now, some versions of the myth, Tiresias has learned their lesson and goes on. Fuck that, those are the boring ones. This is the fun one because Tiresias, upon seeing these two snakes bone, is all like, "Well, the last time this happened, I killed two snakes and got turned into a sex god. Let's do it again!" And goes off and batters the ever-loving shit out of the snakes again. At which point, Hera kind of sighs and is just like, "I ain't gonna teach this motherfucker nothing about nothing." And so she turns him back into a man. Because if you're going around beating the shit out of reptiles, then you're obviously a man. Cut to a few weeks later, when Zeus and Hera are going at it in the form of an argument. I mean, not boning. They both tended to bone mortals much more than each other. Anyway, they're arguing, which is not entirely unusual, as I say, and the subject, however, of the argument is a bit unique because it's down to who enjoys sex more, dudes or chicks. And Zeus says it's gotta be chicks because of his hyperinflated sense of his own sexual prowess and the typical male measurement scale that says that is 8 inches. Hera, by the way, says it's gotta be dudes. Then again, she's never enjoyed sex with a horrible cheating waster of a husband, so it's understandable. But the two of them have been yelling and throwing lightning, and so there's been storms and a couple of cities have been destroyed, when finally one of them takes a breath and is just like, "Hang on. We know someone who can sort this out. We know someone who's fucked as both. So let's just try asking him." So they go hit up Tiresias and "Yo, so go on. We need you to sort this shit out. Who has the sexiest sex? Is it the dudes? Is it the chicks? Is it the dudes or chicks?" Dudes or chicks? Choose wisely. And Tiresias is like, oh man, I thought you would never ask. Seriously, I've invented a new branch of mathematics just to work this problem out. And they're like, holy shit. Yeah, Tiresias quite reasonably saying, look, I have played Naked Twister, I've played Boner Bingo, I've played every variety of Yahtzee you can imagine, but I gotta say, it turns out, mathematically, chicks enjoy sex 9 times more than dudes. And Zeus is like, told you! Just because I put no effort into our sex life does not mean that your experience is the norm. And Hera's like, oh, for fuck's sake, Tiresias. My husband did not need another excuse not to try in bed. Let's see how much you enjoy sex without your eyes. And Tiresias is like, well, according to my own maths, the eyes are not erogenous. No, I'm blind. And Zeus is like, Hera, why you gotta be like that just because I won our argument? Yo, T-Dog, it's all fine. I'm sorry about that. Let me just go ahead and give you the gift of prophecy. And Tiresias is like, okay, this time kill 2 snakes, go blind, but gift of prophecy. Future sight. Yeah, still winning. And then he shows up in a whole bunch of stories, is always right about literally everything, and nobody ever fucks with him because he is quite literally a psychic sex god. So, guys, before you start complaining that pleasing your lady is too difficult, try walking a mile in her boobs, yeah?